Greetings, everyone. This is Audra Johnson, CEO of the Enterprising Woman, where we are about all things entrepreneur. I'm also your go-to and your strategist for small business startups, scale-ups, all things cleaning, health and wellness, and finances. Well, today's broadcast is on the importance of preparing for your next move while you're in your current move. As entrepreneurs, we must always stay ready so we don't have to get ready. And part of that is preparing for our next move while we're in the middle of our current move. So as entrepreneurs, whether you are a full-time entrepreneur working and operating one successful stream, whether you are a side hustler with a side hustle entrepreneur business, no matter what type of entrepreneur business you have, it is very important that you're always in the framework and the mindset of being ready for the next move. So we see here the calendar year is really close to an end. And many of you should have already been thinking and preparing for your next move, or at least evaluating what your options are, looking at your business and the flows of income that have funneled through, so you can make decisions on whether you need to scale up in one area, scale down in another area. And this is especially for multiple streamers like me. Do you know sometimes you can have a few streams that scale up so high that you have to make a decision and say, I need to figure out which stream I may need to, not per se just quit forever, but just kind of go inactive with for a little bit. And that's what I do. And I did that with one of my streams. Like I told you guys, I don't broadcast everything I do. It's for a reason, but I do a lot. And I'm grateful that I'm able to do a lot. And I'm grateful that everything I do does generate income. Whether it is digital driven income, passive income, or regular, get out there and go do it, and make it happen and come. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about was, with everything being the way it is, we see there are a lot of people that are entrepreneurs through a gig economy. Everyone's not an entrepreneur based on something they created or something they invented. So if you're an entrepreneur through the gig economy, you really need to think, and you need to prepare yourself for things that may change. You need to prepare yourself for not only things that may change, you need to prepare yourself for what may change concerning you. And the reason why I say that is because we see how fast things are moving, how fluid these times are. And you have to stay ahead of the game. Many of you, if you have a business where you're visual, you're out there before people, whether it's selling a product or whether it's offering a service, anything that you advertise to the general public, you have eyes on you. And, you have good eyes on you, and then you have not so good eyes on you. You have the eyes on you that want to, let's say, know more about what you have to offer, may even decide to make a purchase or support, but then you have the other eyes on you. Those are the eyes that, want to be a literary thief of what you're doing. Those eyes of the not so good eyes are those eyes of those that somewhat want to, see if they can pretty much usurp, your gift. And I believe a couple of broadcasts back, I talked about, how people can try to, sometimes have such a sense of entitlement in their spirit that they really feel like they're entitled for you to share your trade secrets, which are your keys to generational wealth. And I'm not going to preach on that, but remember, go back a day or two before this broadcast and listen to that broadcast, because I talk a lot about gifting, skills, talents, and how it is so easy to discount what's in you to the point where you're giving away everything that God has put in you to create wealth. The Bible tells us that He gives us power to create wealth and have good success. But guess what? If you're giving the power away, you diminish and scale and cut your wealth off. So, again, there's some things that, of course, should be divulged without giving someone an invoice. But if it makes money for you, and if it's something that you know you can pass down to your family, and you know that, this could be something that can go down from generation to generation. We see it all the time. We go buy products when we go in the store. It's older than us. Generations older than us. So I'm going to leave that alone. But back to this preparing for your next move is so important. Because, no one's going to prepare for your next move for you. You have to do it. And so part of that is sitting down and recapping the course of your year. And then I hope you've been looking at 2022. No matter the type of business that you navigate and operate, I hope you're literally looking at the calendar. I hope you're looking at if you're personal transportation or private concierge. I hope you're looking at the events in your area. I hope you're looking at the venues that are taking place, because we've already opened back up as a country. And we're going to open back up all the more even next year. There are some people that are, prophesying or predicting that, things will close up again. Listen, either way, whether things close up again for a momentary brief period of time or whether they don't, you need to make sure that you have yourself set up to navigate your multiple streams in such a way where you're able to drive income either way. Okay? So now my next subject is on multiple streams. Do you know how important it is in this hour to have multiple streams? Most millionaires that are entrepreneurs, they don't just per se have and navigate one company. Now, there are a few that I can name that, this is their business and this is all they do and they're successful at it and that's it. But for the most part, a lot of entrepreneurs, they really have their hands in a lot of things. And I'm talking again about those on the millionaire plus status. Most people know you need to have at least 3 or more before you really start seeing a significant profit. Now, you can profit immediately from one shoestring business. I, wrote ebooks on all sorts of shoestring startups that you can start with no money, minimal money to no money. So, but successful entrepreneurs, which I love being around, they don't waste time. They're always planning ahead. They're always preparing for their next move. And another nugget and a secret I'm going to give you about millionaire entrepreneurs, when you're around them and you see them, they'll talk to you, they'll speak to you. They don't waste a lot of time. What I mean by that is they'll talk to you. You can talk to them for a few minutes, but in 5 minutes or less, okay, I got to go. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. They don't waste time. And I know that time management is something we all can do better with, including me. With that being said, those of you, if you're in business as an entrepreneur and you want to achieve millionaire status, you want to achieve multiple streams, you have to manage your time. You got to manage your time. Because guess what? The 24 hours that we get a day, each one of us all get that same 24 hours. We can't complain. We can't even make excuses. Now, I do know everyone's lifestyle is different. Let's say if you're an adult and all your children are grown, or if you're a younger adult and you're still raising children, I understand. You have to chop your time up. But it is so important that you manage your time wisely. Okay? So preparing for your next move, it involves many things. It involves preparing yourself mentally first. Do you know you can't do anything until you're ready? One of my major testimonies is how I lost over 176 pounds by diet and exercise, just changing my lifestyle. But I couldn't have done that until I was really ready. And I'm just telling you facts. I used to yo-yo before I literally became consistent and kept all that weight off like 16 years, I've kept all that weight off, But before that, I used to lose weight, gain it right back. Lose weight, gain it right back. There were a lot of reasons, for that. A lot of that was just a lack of knowledge, lack of education. I used to think that once I lost the weight, I could just go back to eating whatever I wanted. So I'm raised from that era pre-technology when, we didn't have as much information at our fingertips to truly know the truth. But once, I made the decision, and once I knew I was ready, I did a lot of my own research, online research, my own with trusted, reliable sources. I didn't just go to Google. I didn't just go to any old website. I went to scholarly websites with scholarly information that was proven and that had actionable steps that worked. But nevertheless, that's another subject there. But I really, really, really want to encourage you guys, because there's so many businesses, so many ideas that have not been activated. There used to be an old saying, and it was really a negative saying that I tell people is just a lie from the pit. And that was that, well, if you thought about it, I'm sure someone else thought about it. Don't ever subscribe to that. Don't ever subscribe to that. If you thought of it, maybe no one else did think about it. And if you thought of it and someone else did think of it, so what? Still do it. Still put feet on it. Put feet on your faith. You gotta have faith, and you gotta be ready. So you guys already know that if you want to go into my ebook catalog, I always post my link tree in the comments. Those of you that may want consulting, I'm available. My website, theenterprisingwoman.com, has a schedule where you can really take advantage of this really, really, really low-priced consult session that I offer. Next year, everything's going up, so I'll give you a heads up on that. Next year, everything is going up. So, nevertheless, but I love what I do, and I hope I've encouraged you. And again, it's been a phenomenal year. And let me end this with another level of encouragement by telling you something. We're in this pandemic, but we're not of the pandemic. We're in it, but not of it. So I say that to say this. A lot of people blame everything on the pandemic. Everyone from our governmental officials, our commander-in-chief on down. They blame everything on the results of the pandemic. Now, we understand that even they, along with other enterprises who I will not name right now, are capitalizing, have capitalized, and are attempting to still capitalize off this pandemic, right? So they're going to always blame everything on the pandemic. But you know what? It was the decisions that led up to this pandemic being what it is. That's the real reason. It's not the pandemic. It's the decisions that were made that led up to the results that created the pandemic. Okay? But in the midst of a pandemic, let me tell you, I'm still seeing people get married. I'm still seeing people have babies. I'm still seeing people celebrate. I'm still seeing people buy homes. I'm still seeing people buy cars. I am still seeing many people do much of what they were able to do before the pandemic began. Yes, I know. The pandemic hit this nation hard, and it hit the world hard. A lot of lives have been lost. People are still leaving here quickly and swiftly as a manifestation of the results of the pandemic. So I am not by any means discounting those things. Being very strategic in my language for a particular reason. But nevertheless, life is still going on for so many people. So you have to remember, in the pandemic, not of it. Okay? So remember those things. When people try to excuse you off and blame everything on the current climate. Yeah, there's some things that have affected supply chain. We get that. There's so much more behind that, though, that I'm not at liberty to discuss. But nevertheless, I want you guys to be encouraged I want you to be encouraged in the pandemic, but not of the pandemic. Okay? Listen, you have a wonderful day, afternoon, or evening, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.